Happy New Year to everyone. You're watching this in 2024. I'm recording this in 2023. So, how's the future working out for everybody? Um, 2023 was a year of wins and losses and actual losses. We kind of hit our ceiling. I feel like we crossed the 12,000. We just fell short of 13,000 by the end of the year, but that's okay. I feel like we kind of hit our saturation point. Views kind of evened out to where they're going to be. Subs were slow, but it's harder to get new people to join in when it's just a fucking dude sometimes, or his friends just sitting with no edits and no fancy camera work or anything like that, just babbling about shit that nobody cares about or that's been talked about a million times on YouTube already. Plus, like, I'm old. Like, YouTube is a young man's game now. Retro is like 2010. That's where we are now. Back in my day, in 2007, when I started doing YouTube shit. But we did have our first ever 100,000 view video. Metz and I continued to do streaming more regularly, and we were able to gather a nice little collection of people for that. Our Discord grew, and we have a nice community there of people who are all super cool. And everybody who's come on to join us and done guest reviews and sat in for streaming and stuff. It's cool to have people who want to be part of your team. It's fairly positive. There's not the same kind of shitty comments and stuff like that. Although every so often, something I did like a year or two ago will get picked up by the Cinemassacre Truth, and then somebody will do like a edit of it to try to make me look like Aaron Rodgers or whatever the fuck the dude who shot those girls was. Whatever, that's fine. Just you always notice it when like something super old that nobody gave a shit about in the first place all of a sudden starts getting comments, and you're just like, oh, okay, it's over on Reddit. It is what it is, even a hate view is a view. We were doing okay this year until that fucking dude put out that plagiarism video, and a bunch of shit all got stirred back up again. And anybody who watches us regularly, watches the streams, watches the videos, they know the story. They know I've apologized. They know what went on and all that shit. So I don't feel the need to go back into all that again. I had to block like 50 people on Twitter. Pretty sure a few of them are the exact same dude. There's a bunch of these guys that like we stopped like making inside jokes about their blogs and stuff because it wasn't funny anymore. It just became kind of sad, and it's like, all right, well, I think I have mental health problems. These people really have mental health problems. And then what's your end game? Like, I'm not quitting YouTube, even if nobody fucking watches, I'll just keep talking to my fucking camera. I don't care, I'm not making any money off this shit. I have a full-time job, I run movie theaters pretty much 7 days a week. So because of that, we lost a bunch of subs and all that kind of stuff. And then you're constantly people plagiarize, calling me a plagiarizer over and over and over again, which is like, all right, whatever. Let's find something new. Let's get back to calling me ugly or something like that. We could do that. But we had some cool shit happen. Well, I had some cool shit happen this year, and therefore I was able to share that cool shit with other people. Debbie Does Demons came out via Culture Shock Releasing. I wrote and produced the final scene for that movie with the guys from Red Cup Studios, and I did a whole video about it, which you can check out on the channel. But it sold incredibly well. Donald Farmer made the movie, and I added the final scene. The slipcover sold like fucking crazy, which was awesome. It's going for like stupid money now on eBay. So I did that for Donald this year. Shark Exorcist 2 premiered in Japan a week ago when I'm recording this, and the crowd fucking loved it, and like started getting a bunch of interest from Japan of people who want me to be on podcasts and be included in their blogs and stuff, and they've taken interest in the Jaws Ferratu project, which I kind of put on the back burner for a while. So stuff like that is super cool to see your work in another country, and people excited to talk about you and the dumb little thing that you did. It's funny, I shot that in November of 2021, still very much on the heels of being fired from Screenwave, and the original one that we shot had the former host of that show I used to do, and the redhead, my former best friend, and we shot this really cool, elaborate fucking underwater and drone thing with special effects and all. And it was going to be the opening to that movie, but they were embarrassed to be associated with a Donald Farmer movie, and me as well. It's fine, whatever. But I just remember the guy I used to work for at the other company being like, to work with Donald Farmer or Lloyd Kaufman is like embarrassing. It's like, why would you want to be Trauma, or why would you want to be Wild Eye Releasing? And I was like, why wouldn't you want to be those things? Like, if you grew up like me, going to the video store and watching Joe Bob Briggs and Mystery Science Theater, why wouldn't you want to be associated with those things? Then those motherfuckers went on to do the Toxie game that I pitched, where they cuddled up with Lloyd Kaufman. But I don't have any tea to spill right now. I just have some Canada Dry. So we the Shark Exorcist did well, and it came out over there, and it's gonna be coming out here through Wild Eye Releasing in 2024. What else did I do this year? I was in a movie. I went out to Missouri and did James Dean's Triple Xmas. I had a whole fucking mess getting there. I made a whole video about it. James was a fan of the old show, and he and I stayed in contact, and he was posting about making the movie, and I jokingly said, well, I want to be in the movie, and they wrote a part for me. So I went out there last March, and I shot the part of George, the cameraman, the ill-fated cameraman for the adult film. And I met some awesome people out there, including Madeline Page, who's come out and been on my show a bunch of times, or Metz and I and everybody else's show. It's everybody's show, and hung out with us a bunch of times from Missouri. And will be involved, and it was involved in another shoot I did this year for Donald Farmer, which was for Blood Bitch Baby, which was originally Demon Queen 2. I think he changed the title. And Madeline Fallon and I shot a segment for that movie, which is already slated to release with Culture Shock releasing as well. We shot a bunch of shit, but so Triple Xmas came out, made a bunch of people's top 10 list of the year. I think it's a lot of fun. Morgan Thompson, Jessa Flux. It's a fun movie. I have a very cool practical effects death taken right out of Peter Jackson's Dead Alive. And then we premiered it. We had the Philadelphia premiere here at my theater, and now you can rent it on New Village Video. New Village Video also optioned the rights to my Mars vs. Cheerleader screenplay a year ago, and a lot of pre-production's gone on that. We have a little Discord server. We're putting all the effects together and the people and all that. That was originally written for my old best friend co-host, but somebody else is going to do it, and it's going to be awesome. So we got all those together. We've been shooting the show. The screenplay that I wrote for Coney Wave's TV pilot back in 2012 got made as a comic book, and my screenplay for it that I did with Mark Polton was one of the incentives for their crowdfunding. So that came out, and a lot of people have gotten their hands on that. It's cool to see like shit that I did so long ago, like finally having a second life, Scissors, which I wrote with Robbie from Crude Cinema. These guys came to us in LA, and they wanted an LGBTQ slasher movie, and they kind of gave us the story they had and the locations that they had, and we wrote them this like cool 8mm 7 the George C. Scott movie hardcore kind of American giallo film, and they loved that, and they went and they shot it, and Eric Roberts is in it, and that'll be out next year. And because of the comic book, I wrote a wrestling slasher book with Mark Polton and Dexter Weeks called Ma'am, which is like Terrifier meets the 90s Attitude Era of the WWF meets 90s mall culture. So that'll be out next year as well. We did a whole bunch of shit, man. Fallon and I were working on Sucks to Suck together, and I wrote a bunch of stuff for that, and then I shot all my parts, and then she went out to Vegas and shot some stuff, and I think I'm going to come back and help her putting some things together. We kind of butted heads creatively for a while there, but we were able to kind of put everything back together, and she's been one of my best friends and so helpful to me, and just like gets it, knows what it's like to have been through the ringer when it comes to the social media nonsense. And I love her to death, and she's been such an awesome person, and an influence on me continuing to write and do good things and make things. And you put her together with somebody like Madeline, and we just have a fucking good time. So a lot of really good creative stuff. I took back over as the district manager for Real Cinemas. But the one thing that we did have this year, is we lost Christy Burger, one of my favorite people ever. And she had been battling cancer for 5 years. And, Fallon, Christy and I had shot a couple of reviews that we never put together. And I'm going to try to get everything from those all together to put them out next year, because I think that people would really... I think her parents especially would really like that. She and I just bounced off each other really, really well. The negative that came from it was a former best friend and a former ex-girlfriend both came to the funeral, and apparently they were mocking my reaction to everything and the video that I put out. So that sucked. That was a kick in the taint. But, I'm not surprised, because these were the same people who played my voice message the night that I was hospitalized back when all this shit went down. So, that's why I go back to not apologizing anymore for things, because I've paid my debt, and I don't get to hide behind, the clout and the company and the ad revenue and all that kind of shit. I have to be in it and be real, and that hurt my feelings big time. So, a lot of the things that I've been doing for this coming year has been to show some people that I'm better than they ever could have imagined. So that was that, and then I have a network TV thing that I'm up for right now that I can't talk too much about, but I had a couple meetings with New York and with Hawaii about that, and I'll know by the middle of the month if I'll be going out to LA for a little bit of time this spring. That'd be fucking cool, but so far they really like me from the meetings I had, and and it's all predicated on, my ultimate goal always was to just make things with my friends, and to like things that we could be proud of. It's not like you did something because you got paid, or you did something because you're paying somebody a favor to somebody else, or or because of clout. I want people to be involved in things that they're actually excited about and proud of. And what I learned over the last few years, being away from all those other people and with these new people, is and old people too, like there's some people just kind of stuck around, is that there are people who genuinely get what you're trying to do. Even if they don't always understand what you're trying to do, they get where it's coming from. And then there's the people who are doing it because maybe it'll break through and they'll be able to help you, or X, Y, and Z person, and then you can help them boost their clout or something like that. Like, I don't have that now in my life. I genuinely, anybody who stuck around because of my passion and how I treat people and my desire to want to make things and watch and support other people who make things. And that's really the goal in 2024, is with a lot of seeds that have been planted over the last few years to finally sprout something, and to get to share that with the people who stuck around, that were friends for a long time, or people who I met last year. A lot of the people I met in Missouri, people we've met through our Discord, people who've come on to the channel and done reviews, or just being positive. Mets has been such a huge influence on me, and we keep each other in check and give each other something to look forward to, is doing the channel and just sitting down and talking about movies with people who give a fuck, and getting on sets with people like Chris Rupert and the guys from Red Cup and Wild Eye Releasing and Culture Shock Releasing and Donald Farmer and just the people we've been working with over the last few years. Getting to write with people, getting to who go like whatever, like they're going to call you a plagiarist for the rest of your life. What are you going to do about it? You can sit back and be like I did in 2021 and be miserable and out there trying to like fuck things up for people, and instead just be like, let's just go make things. If people find us, they find us. If they don't, they don't. A hate watch is a hate watch. You know, if you're going to buy my movie or download my movie and give it a negative review, you still watched it. You know, fuck you. You know, it's like people still send me copies of Swamp Zombies 2 to sign, you know? So, you know, it's just about, I want to make things that people can be proud of being involved in, things to pay back people like Christy who aren't there for, you know, who aren't going to be there physically but are there spiritually with me going forward. You know, Met's coming out to conventions with me, Fallon for sticking by me when it's probably, you know, when it wasn't easy to stick by me, and other people too. If I'm forgetting you or not saying your name, I apologize. You know, there's so many people in my life over the last 2 years especially who've just shown me such great compassion and kicked me in the ass and told me to stop fucking feeling sorry for myself and just keep moving and create something new. And you know, and Aaron Carter out in LA, I wrote Street Creeps with him 2 years ago, and that one was moving along. And you know, I wrote Darby Screamhouse for Donald Farmer, and Fredel and Ray read some of my stuff and gave me a bunch of notes. And you know, we got the Florida Man comic. The first 4 issues are completely done, and I wrote Late Fees for Cameron Smith out in Pittsburgh, which is a really fun fucking script that was based on a nightmare that I had for years about not returning tapes to Blockbuster, and I get a chance to kind of exercise my satirical take on VHS collectors and YouTube movie reviewers. You know, that whole culture. I don't know, just a bunch of shit that I've gotten to write in the last year or two for people, and that I'm excited about doing. And when I find out that people in other places like what I've done, it's cool and it's exciting to get that opportunity again, and to get to share it with you guys who are watching, and even people who are lurking on my social media or hate watching or whatever. You know, I in a perfect world, I'd do a bunch of shit and everybody would just be pals again and everything would be fine, and Reddit would go, you know what, we were wrong about that nude. He made a mistake, but he owned up to it. And my old friends would be like, we're really sorry that we made fun of you at the 2 worst times of your entire life. But that's not how the world works. You know, you're never going to get the validation that you think you're due. You're never going to change people's minds who already have their minds made up about you. I've accomplished a lot when it comes to being a better person, being a more mindful person, you know, and sticking with therapy and medication and meditation and just giving of my time to people, you know, when it comes to charity and all that kind of stuff, and just, you know, trying to you know, re-energize relationships that I had with people in the past who, you know, got fucked up because of, you know, me giving attention to some of the wrong people. You know, there's some ex-girlfriends you guys have never met, who I've been able to be friends with again and go out and hang out with, and there's a lot of people also who are like, hey, I'm still, you know, not ex-girlfriends or anything, but people who like are in film and art stuff in the Philadelphia area, like, hey, like, I'm still friends with those people over there, so please don't tag me in anything when we go hang out. So I'm like their secret friend, but that's okay. I would rather be a secret friend than not a friend at all. I don't know, man. I can't say that, you know, I can't say that I'm in a place yet where I can go, you know, I'm content, because I'm never going to be content. I'm always going to be chased by ghosts of my past, of dumb things I said or did, things that, like, probably those people aren't even mad about because they don't remember, but I remember, you know, and, you know, trying to outrun what people think about me on social media and all that kind of shit. But really what it comes down to is, I work every day. I keep up with my friends. I make sure everybody's okay. I make sure people don't feel alone in our Discord or whatever, or on social media. You know, we get back to the whole, like, yeah, everybody thinks I'm crazy. I gave my phone number out to people who are feeling suicidal, and I met a bunch of new people, and we keep tabs on each other, and I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back. I'm saying it because sometimes people feel alone and they need help and they don't know where to turn, and I'm the worst person to fucking get in contact with because I don't know where I am half the time. But I felt really alone for a really long time, and I felt scared to let people know how fucking alone I was, and it came down to ruining a lot of the things in my life, was because you try to be the guy who knows what he's doing and looks like he's in control of things and is so single-minded on, like, I'm gonna create this thing, and once it's successful, then it's gonna all be okay because everybody's gonna understand what I was trying to do, and we're all gonna have better lives because of it. And and I was not mindful. My head was off somewhere else. I was like Don Quixote chasing fucking windmills. And and while that's still my goal, I realized that, like, I'm getting older. People around me that I love are gone, and I need to do what I can to be in the moment and of the moment and not lose any more people in my life, because that's my biggest fear in life, is losing the people who I love and I respect, before I have a chance to fully express my my admiration of them, and show them that this wasn't all for nothing. There's a lot of, like, YouTubers who I'm big fans of, who again, it's harder for them to be friends with me, but again, I just tell them all the time, like, dude, what you do is fucking great. Like, it's so awesome that you keep doing shit with a way bigger audience, and you don't listen to all the nonsense out there from Reddit or wherever, or even just local artists or people I see online that I see shit from, models, actors, painters, musicians, whatever. It's just like, it's that old saying, it's like, it doesn't cost anything to cheer on somebody who makes art, and that's kind of what I just want to keep doing, is just rallying together, outcasts and misfits and artists and weirdos, and creating art and cheering each other on, and talking about weird movies, and just every year getting further and further away from 2021 and building towards a better future. And this is the long way of me saying thank you to everyone who has stuck with us, who's watched us, who comments, who gives criticism, whether it's constructive or not. Man, I'm like Dirk Diggler. Like, I'm gonna keep rocking if you all keep rocking. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in a better place this year than I was last year. Way better than I was the year before that. But still, I'm not where I want to be yet. And while I thought this year we were going to be in a studio and we'd be making movies and all this kind of stuff, I had to do things a little bit differently. It's all about, I thought we'd be making the Puppet Plan 9 movie or Jaws for Otto or Infestoids or something like that. And it didn't pan out that way. Work and paying bills and sacrificing things, asking for help when I had to, I don't know, just doing what had to be done in order to get where I needed to go, and not be a burden on people when I, and again, I appreciate every one of you so much for continuing to watch. And, I'm not doing this to say, tell me I'm good and smart or anything like that, or to, like I said, to spill tea on anybody or anything like that. I have my little folder of fuel. Whenever people send me shit that somebody said about me, or that I'll never be able to do, or that somebody said about me or something that I used to be friends with or whatever, I hold on to it, because one day I do want to be able to just, like, delete that file and say, well, I did it all, despite not having Screenwave's money or studio or people, everybody I wanted to work with coming to work with me or something like that. It's not going to be the way you had it in your head, but as long as you don't quit, you could still make something out of it, And that's why getting to work with Donald Farmer and getting to put things out with Culture Shock or Wild Eye or with Cruise Cinemas or with Haunted Pizza LLC Comics, like, this is my dream come true, man. This is all I've ever wanted to do since I was a little kid, was to tell stories and be involved in film and filmmaking in any way, shape, or form. You might, Ryan from Screamwave might say it's trash, or like, oh, it's not a Netflix movie or something like that. Although, it might be to them, but to me, it's being part of the game, and I would much rather make, 100 triple Xmas's and Debbie Does Demons than to hand over something that I love and that I worked on and have them change it a million ways to it doesn't represent anything of what you were trying to say about it. And that's what's exciting is just, getting to put ideas out there and to have people who you respect say, oh, I love this. Yeah, go ahead, shoot it. Or we're going to shoot it or something like that. Or, hey, come out and be in our movie and get killed on camera or something like that. I want to be in more movies. So if you're making shit and you're looking for someone to come be in your movie, I will definitely come be in your movie. I got some cons coming up. I'm excited for what 2024 can bring. Again, we have like 9 movies that are finished that are all slated to come out, even segments I did for other things. So that it's going to be the most output that I've ever had. With Crude Cinema, what's it called? Scissors obviously is coming out, but we only wrote that one. But Robbie directed Strange Toys, River Beauty, and Cold of Blood, which I wrote with him, that are all shot and coming out, and they have fucking great casts in them and stuff. It's just cool. It's cool to see your name in the credits of things, and that's something that Reddit can't take away from you. So I've been talking for 26 minutes. I'm here till midnight. And I was watching a documentary about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Paramount Plus. So I'll get back to that. I just wanted to kind of give the Cliff's Notes of where we were last year, and for everybody who's been watching, and I just, again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everyone. I appreciate every single fucking one of you. And you don't need to super chat me for me to acknowledge you. I'm just a fucking another dude on YouTube, another 40-something-year-old loudmouth. But my ultimate goal is to make everybody who stuck with us very proud to have stuck with us, and to make the people who said that I never could go, fuck that guy. He still plagiarized that time though. Fuck him. Let's do a video that gets like millions and millions of views about it. Yeah. Again, but then in those, it's like, wait a minute, but hold on. How come nobody checked? Never mind. We've already talked about this. If you hate me that much and you want to know the truth, you're going to have to go back and rewatch all of my videos since 2021 and slowly put the pieces together as to what really happened when I dime people out and all that kind of stuff. See? You have to go watch. Plus, like the long ass live streams. There's a lot of information in the live streams as well. Like, everything that Reddit ever wanted to know is in these videos. It's like the Da Vinci Code. You got to put it all together. So go back and rewatch all my videos. And you might get the full story of what went on there. Or not. You just go watch my videos. Like I said, I hate view is still a view. All right, guys. I hope everyone had a safe New Year's Eve. I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday season, and you're into 2024, and hopefully it's a great year for everybody, and everybody gets everything that they wanted, and reach out and start getting help that they need, and when it comes to mental health, losing weight, relationship help, all that kind of stuff, don't be afraid to reach out and to get help, because we don't know how many fucking bites of the apple we're going to get, how many more spins of this big blue rock we're going to get. So let's try to all work together and make something good out of it, and be positive. And it's fun to make fun of bad movies, but I would much rather keep talking about shit I love with people who I love, and making things that we can all be excited about. When you make your fucking YouTube channels or comic books or movies or music or whatever, your video games, send them to me, because I want to look at them. And we could all cheer each other on, and maybe one day we'll hit the 13,000 subscriber mark, and we'll all be happy and excited and fulfilled as a nice little schlocktastic family. And yeah, guys, thank you. Thank you so much. And if Mets was here, Mets would say the same thing. We have such a good time sitting down and just talking. And we've known each other for over 8 years now. Mets started out as my employee and has become one of my best friends in the entire world. Love him to death. And there's such a great sounding board to and because of you guys, they've fallen in love with wrestling. Like, I know nothing about wrestling, so our live streams become like all about wrestling, and I just kind of like I leave my body. But because of you guys and everyone in the Discord, like, now that's their fucking thing, and they think that they found their passion and wanted to get into wrestling. So without this silly channel, we wouldn't have had that. Without all the nonsense that happened, I say to myself constantly, I was like, I never should have left the Anthony Wayne. I never should have gone to work for Screenwave. I would still be friends with the big guy and the girl, the redhead, and all that kind of stuff, and my reputation and blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, you got to hit rock bottom in order to get the help that you need, to put new people around you who actually give a shit. And through those ripple effects, that a butterfly flaps its wings in fucking Peru, we get to a point where we have these great people who I give a chance to be friends with, and Mets finds their passion, and Fallon and I are able to work together, and we create some stuff, and then other people see my stuff, and then they ask me to be on their stuff. So you never know, man. It's all the sound of thunder, and that's it. 31 minutes. I did this for 31 minutes. Just for a long way for me to say Happy New Year, and I love all of you guys, and have a good one.